We are being asked to solve the nonlinear system, and just looking at this problem, I initially go to elimination. So what I would do is try to remove the y's by multiplying the second equation by a negative 25. So then I would end up with 9x squared plus 25y squared equals 225. Then we would have a negative 25 times x minus 6 all squared minus 25y squared equals negative 25. When we add these together, the negative 25s will cancel each other out. So I'm just going to write all of this out on the left. We have 9x squared minus 25 times x minus 6 all squared means x minus 6 times x minus 6. So that's going to be x squared minus 6x plus 36. That's really difficult for you to see, isn't it? I don't know if that helped at all, but we'll try. So then, combining like terms, we have x squared minus 12x plus 36. So this part becomes that. Sorry about my dog. This is 0, so then we have equals 225 minus 25 will be 200. So now we need to distribute the negative 25. We have 25 times negative 12. We get a positive 300. Then we have negative 25 times 36, and we have a negative 900. So this is going to be a quadratic equation. I will go ahead and combine like terms and move the 200 to this side. Oh, it goes here. So we have 9 minus 25 is negative 16x squared plus 300x, and that's minus 1100 equals 0. Now, since this is a negative, I like for my square term to be positive. What I'm going to do is divide by a negative 1. However, I also see that all these are even, and they're probably all divisible by some other number. I know 4 would probably work. Let me just see if I can find a number that all are divisible by. I think 4 is going to be our best bet. Alright, so if we divide both sides by negative 4, we get a positive 4x squared, a negative 75x, and a positive 275. Now, I could try to factor this at this point, but I think what I'll do is use the quadratic formula. Splitting these up, I would get 75 plus 35 and then divide it by 8. So I would get 55 over 4. Then I would have 75 minus 35 divided by 8 is going to be 5. So I have x is equal to these two numbers, to find y, I need to substitute the x's back into the equations. So I'm going to try when x is 55 over 4. What happens? I'll go back to my original equation. So we have 9 times 55 over 4 squared plus 25y squared equals 225. So we're going to get 25y squared is equal to a negative 23625 over 16. We have to divide both sides by 25, and because of this 2, we have to take the square root. Well, when we take the square root of this, it's going to be a negative number. That's going to give us an imaginary solution. Now remember, when you're solving a system, you're actually looking where these cross. These two equations are some sort of circular. They could be ovals, they could be circles. When you have an x squared and a y squared, you're going to have some sort of circle usually. So they could intersect like this, which would mean you have two solutions. They could never intersect like that, so maybe it looks like this when you graph them, or they could intersect like this, where they intersect in just one point. So we know that this one, this particular solution where x is 55 over 4, it doesn't work because we're going to get an imaginary solution. So we don't want this one. So let's try when x is equal to a positive 5. So we have 9 times 5 squared plus 25y squared equals 225. So we have 9 times 25 is 225. We actually subtract 225 from both sides. I'm out of room, that's why I'm doing some of this in my head. So we have 25y squared is equal to 0. So y squared is equal to 0, and whenever we take the square root of both sides, we find that y is 0. So the solution is 5, 0. Now we definitely want to go back and check that. So what I'm going to do in my calculator, I'm going to store 5, so 5 stow x, enter, and I'm going to store 0. So 0 stow, I'll just put that in the letter A. I go back to my original equations. I have 9x squared plus 25y squared, but my y was actually a, right? And it needs to be 225. So the first one works. Let's try the second one. So we have x minus 6 squared plus y squared, which is a in my calculator, and that needs to be 1. And it is. That means the solution 5, 0 is the solution for this system of equations, and it would intersect in just one point like this one.